Yo, what's up, dogs? I'm here to finally talk about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Now, I told you all that I'm going to see it on a Tuesday with my friend. And what happened was there was a report of a potential snowstorm. So, my friend, who doesn't have his snow tires installed yet, said, "Hey, I can't make it." So, I decided to go alone. I went on the Tuesday, like I said. I got an IMAX ticket. I was literally the only person in the theater until the trailers ended and two old ladies stopped in and sat in the front row. So it was just the three of us. I didn't get no concessions. I had a coffee and I was dialed in. And honestly, I enjoyed myself. I was entertained. Now, it's not a great film by any means or anything like that, right? But it was a good film where I was just like, okay, you entertained me for 2 and 4 minutes or something like that, right? Well, I got my notes here. 2 and 4 minutes, I was correct. And I thought, you know what? The director, James Wan, I love the guy. He did great work. I really feel like in this movie, you see some really dope shots by him. However, I feel like he was hamstrung by the studio, by the things that were surrounding this movie, i.e., Amber Heard's trial, the James Gunn situation where he pretty much just said none of these movies count anymore. So I really feel like James Wan got the short end of the stick and he was fighting an uphill battle. And what he gave us was at least something of a movie that was moderately entertaining, and I enjoyed myself here and there for 2.4 minutes, 2 hours and 4 minutes, and I left the theater going, that wasn't bad. I had a fun time. I was entertained. Sorry that this is the end of the DCEU, because I actually liked Aquaman 1 a lot, and so did everybody else. It made $1 billion. And I kind of sat there in my car driving home going, I wonder if this movie could have done $1 billion if it didn't have all those circumstances surrounding it, And what movie would we have gotten? Because this movie was heavily edited. And you could tell there's stuff missing and stuff just it's just weird. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of makes you wonder what we could have gotten if all those things didn't happen, If there's somewhere in the multiverse out there where there is a perfect Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom out there. You know what I'm saying? Someone's watching it. Me in a different universe is enjoying a 4-star movie probably. When really, I think I gave this movie like a 2. So, I have my notes here. Quick story overview. Here comes a quick spoiler warning as well, because it's going to happen. So the story I just wrote down, very basic, bare bones story here. We have Arthur, played by Jason Momoa, who is down on his luck, I guess. He doesn't really like being the king of Atlantis, but he's sent out on a mission because Black Manta, played by, I hope I pronounced his name correctly, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, he's found some ancient technology. He's blowing up Atlantis, and it's up to Arthur to save the day. But he needs assistance from his brother, Orm, who's in jail. So he needs him to come together to fight Black Manta because Black Manta is on the quest. His quest gets sidetracked. He's on the quest to resurrect. And I wrote down the Necrolantis Kingdom because I actually don't know what it's called. To resurrect that kingdom and not destroy Atlantis. That's roughly the story. It's a lot, like I said. There's tons of things going on in this movie. So, I got my notes. Here we go. Let's start with the good, okay? The good in this film. First of all, I do enjoy Jason Momoa as Arthur, the King of Atlantis in general. I think he's great. I think he's funny. It's enjoyable watching him on the screen. I just like his persona and the character itself. It's very Jason Momoa. It's not like he's acting like some king of Atlantis. It's just Jason Momoa having fun. You know what I'm saying? And I enjoy that. Also, I like Patrick Wilson as Orm, who is just a great foil to the chaotic nature of Arthur, where Orm is this very serious king kind of guy, you know what I'm saying? And it's just fun to watch those two play off each other. And that's what I like a lot about this movie, is the buttery cup element of this film, where These guys are going on an adventure together. And honestly, when you watch the movie, you don't really need Orem. He doesn't actually add anything to the why or how to fix the solution. It's like they kind of just say, hey, you need your brother. Go rescue him. Or not rescue him. Break him out of prison, because that's where he got put in the last movie, right? So it's a weird story to get the two together. However, when they are together, it's a fun time. And I actually really enjoyed every scene they are together. And unfortunately, we're not going to get a third movie, so we don't get to see this relationship carry on. And I kind of wanted more. I would watch a whole nother movie with just those two doing weird stuff together. Like, it's just a fun time. Maybe if Warner Brothers is listening and saw what happened on the screen there, they would cast those two in a buddy cop type movie and release it, because I think that could make money for them. Think about it, Warner Bros. The other thing that I really liked in this movie is Black Manta. The actor, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, is dope. I really liked him. He brings a certain menacing charisma to this movie where he has his main objective, and I love it. He's so driven that he just wants to kill Arthur and get his revenge for what Arthur did to his father. And I love it. I love every minute of it. I love that is his sole motivation. And it's great. And when he shows up on screen, he has a presence. You're like, oh no, Manta is here. Like, this dude put in so much work to make Black Manta a legit threat over the course of these two movies that it's awesome to see Black Manta and you go, oh no, Black Manta's here. Watch out, Arthur. And the thing is too, Arthur's a god. We know Manta can't go toe-to-toe with him, but somehow we still have belief that Manta is a menace and he can do some damage to Arthur. It's awesome in a way. Like, it's just awesome. I like it. I loved every minute of him. But we have some bad about him, though. And it's not his fault, though. I'm honest. It's not his fault. So the other thing that I actually liked in this here, another character, is I liked Dr. Stephen Shin, who's played by Stephen Shin, who's played by Randall Park. And I just liked his character arc in a sense. It's nothing crazy, but I just like the idea of this doctor whose sole motivation is to see Atlantis, and he's caught in a space where it's like he wants to do good because all he wants to do is discover Atlantis. But he's in a bad place because he's unwillingly working for Black Manta, and Black Manta is just on a quest of revenge. And so this puts the doctor in certain circumstances that he doesn't actually want to be a part of, but his drive to see Atlantis, and I guess also see Atlantis technology and other elements, is what clouds his judgment to doing evil things when he's not an evil person. So it's a very interesting character. I like him. I liked him on screen. He got some more screen time in this film, and I kind of just liked how he interacted with everything. Like, you really see his moral dilemma that he's fighting every time Manta commands him to do something, which is nice and refreshing. The next thing that I like here, I really enjoyed the world of Aquaman. So the underwater world of Aquaman seems very big, very expansive, very mythological, very fantasy, and like fun. Like, I wanted to explore more of it, and I just wanted to be in that world. Like, I had no cares about what's going on topside Earth. You know what I'm saying? I was so into under the sea, what kingdom's over here, what kingdom's over there, who does what. Oh, this is the sea of bad guys over here, the Butcher's Bay or whatever it is, where all the pirate ships sink. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. This is cool. So I really enjoyed that world. And also, I'd like to just say shout out to the set designers, the CGI artists, and like whoever else worked on these creatures and putting this world together. I liked it a lot. It was enjoyable to see. Again, a shame we won't be able to come back to it, but I appreciated the work put into that, okay? So aside from cool set pieces, there are actually good action beats in this movie as well. I enjoyed the final fight between Manta and Arthur. And I just kind of like that final fight with Mantis because, like, he died. Well, he doesn't die, but he falls like a comic book villain would, right? Like, I'll get you next time, but we don't know, because he falls off into a black abyss of water, right? so comically villainy. I loved it, and I just was like, this is fun. But yeah, a lot of the action sequences in this movie are enjoyable. They're not like the best you'll ever see. We're not talking Jackie Chan quality here or John Wick quality, but good. And the final thing, I guess I should note in here, is I did like some of the jokes. This movie has humor in it. It's not going to land for everyone. I did laugh here and there. I thought Topo wasn't the funniest thing in the movie, but at times you kind of just laughed at seeing this octopus. I don't know why I said octopus. That's awesome. But still, you laugh at this creature being into the desert and stuff like that. And another thing I forgot, I wrote down here, this goes back to the set pieces and the cool worlds. I actually really liked the undead Necrolantis stuff. Like, I just thought they looked cool, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I have for cool and good. Like, it was just, that was fun. But, you know, we could say this movie's a little too long and bad editing and stuff like that. Let's get into the nitpicks, you know what I'm saying? We're not calling it bad anymore. I gotta keep reminding myself that. I gotta write it down. I keep writing down bad. I need to write down nitpicks. Because bad should be reserved for absolutely bad stuff. But let's get into some nitpicks here. Maybe there is some bad in here. Okay, this is actually bad. This part is bad. So, okay, the Black Manta storyline sucks. Like, it's dope. At the beginning, it's dope, but then it becomes secondary, and thus it becomes sucky because he becomes a vessel. So, like, the initial storyline of Manta is, I want revenge against Arthur for killing my father. Dope, I'm on board. Round 2, let's go. Ding, ding. Here we go. However, he's looking for technology to make him stronger to go against Arthur. Check, that makes sense. You got your butt whooped last time because you're not strong enough. I'm on board with this. But he finds the black trident and he becomes possessed by it. And the guy that's inside him, we'll call him the Necro King of Necrolantis, is possessing Black Manta to now do his deeds instead of Black Manta's story. So it's no longer Black Manta's story. It's now this vessel of the King Necro guy's story where he's like, pollute the world, melt the polar ice caps, unveil my kingdom so I can get unlocked. And you also got to go get me the blood of the royal bloodline, right? So steal baby Arthur and stuff like that. So like, his storyline gets sidetracked, and I think that's bad because I'm invested in Manta and his revenge quest. Not all of a sudden he becomes a vessel for this, like, kind of unrelated, like, it's still revenge, but like it seems that it takes a back seat, you know, and it's just like, oh, okay, so now Mantis's revenge is really what this king wants, right? Like, I didn't care for it. So I put that in as a bad. So here's a nitpick that I do have. There's a scene in this movie where Arthur goes to break out Orm from a prison. And he literally just shows up pretty much ready to complete the mission, so to speak. Like, we only get like 1 or 2 minutes of an actual break-in. And I feel like I would have enjoyed a lot more, like, breaking in. You know, like a stakeout, all the things that go into, like, you know, like a Mission Impossible movie. How are we going to break this person out and like actually lay it out for us and get us involved and being like, this is how we're going to do this. We got to do this. And then he goes and executes it. And then as he, like, that's all I really wanted. It just shows up. He's just like, hey, I'm here. Beats up a sand dude, steals Orm. They break out together, run into the water. Orm's alive. The end. Like, it's just, I don't know. It seems very like rushed. Actually, you could say that a lot about certain things in this movie that are just absolutely rushed. And then, like, another nitpick is like, do we really need Orm? Like, it's King Arthur. He's the king of Atlantis. Why doesn't Aquaman just go and do all of this himself? Right? Like, I actually forget the excuse as to why we needed Orm in the first place, because Orm doesn't do anything special in the movie to warrant him being there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. It's kind of dumb. They just kind of forced him in there. So, yeah, it's weird. Because there's a scene where Orm and Aquaman go to, like, that Butcher's Bay pirated ships that are all broken down and stuff. And it's like, and Arthur's talking like, hey, I've never been here before. And you're kind of like, how? How could you have never been here before? You're the king of Atlantis. You should know that all of this exists. And then in that scene, if you look in the background, there's a fighting pit in the background. And if you remember earlier in the movie when Arthur is doing a monologue about what has happened over the years, there's a scene of him fighting inside that fighting pit. And I was kind of sitting there going like, wait a minute. He was just fighting in that fighting pit like 20 minutes ago when you were telling me about this thing at the beginning of the movie. How has he never been here if he's never been to the fighting pit before? But he's been to the fighting pit before, so he's been here before, so he knows these guys. He's made money off these guys. He's a hustler. So, yeah, unimpressed. Unimpressed. We didn't need him. We didn't need Oram. We didn't need him. So, like I said, I gotta... Like, the next little nitpick here is there's so much going on in this movie, right? Like, I wrote it down quickly here. We got Arthur and his kingdom, and it's in trouble. His brother. There's the pollution of the earth and of, I guess, the sea. We have Black Manta's problems. We have a zombie king. There's something else going on in the movie. Like, there's so much going on in this movie that you're kind of just like, whoa, calm down here. Let's get a couple stories in line and focus on this and tell a more coherent story, because you're kind of sitting there at the end going, well, what about this? What about that? Huh? Why? But I digress. There's just a lot going on. But I still maintain I was entertained. I wrote down here the music kind of sucked. It's forgettable. I don't even remember it. Oh yeah, so I forgot. I wrote down the Aura Calcum. Okay, so this is some like ancient nuclear mystical thing, right? And throughout the film, whoever has come in contact with this stuff is like, hey, it's very explosive. It's very volatile. Don't mess around with it, okay? It can blow up, whatever, okay? And then we have a scene later on where literally Aquaman takes a tube of this orichalcum, it doesn't matter how it's pronounced, and he's fighting off this octopus robotic monster, which looked cool, and he's fighting with it. Like, he's using it as a weapon. And I think Orum's like, hey, that's explosive, but it never exploded. Like, it was so weird at how he just used it pretty much as a bow staff or an axe, and it never exploded once. And it was just like, okay, that's cool. It was so weird. That was a nitpick. And then my final like story nitpick was, if the Necro King comes back to life, is his motivations only to destroy Atlantis and stuff underneath the sea? Or was he also out to like destroy Earth as well? Like the top level stuff? Or was it like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just kind of thinking about that. It was a curiosity. I'm like, would he go after Earth after that? Or does Earth even know anything that's going on under the sea? Which they don't. By the end of the movie, you find out that they know nothing, to be perfectly honest. And my final thing here, it's the silly, and it made me laugh, is the Black Manta crew looked like dorks the entire time. They had this like scuba suit on with this headpiece that just, they looked so ridiculous and not cool, not threatening. They looked like dorks. And I felt bad for Manta because I'm like, dude, you should have a better crew. You're a cool villain. Your crew looks like dorks. I can't roll with you like this, okay? So that's my silly. Anyways, that's the end of the review. I have no questions because this is the end of the DCEU. But hey, you know what? Put down what you think the DCEU should do in the future. What do you think about James Gunn's future with it? Do you think James Wan got hosed because of the announcements and everything that went around this movie? You know, tell me what your thoughts are about the DCU and your experience with it too. Tell me that, okay? And on that note, I'm out of here. I have just watched American Fiction, so that review's coming. I'm watching The Book of Clarence next, The Beekeeper, and then I'll eventually get around to releasing my best and worst stuff as well. So on that note, whatever you guys are watching, I hope you're loving them and digging them. I'm out of here. Peace out, everyone. Bye.